Welcome everybody to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and attention coach, Jeff Copper. And today I'm here to talk about a learned experience, a coaching experience, and share some insights with you. The bottom line is, those with ADHD, I like to say if there's anything that you're not doing, my first question is, what's hard about it? So I'm coaching an individual who I'm working with, and we're talking about some basic things. We know that meditation, exercise, diet, and sleep, non-med meds, if you will, are very helpful for those with ADHD. We also know that they're all boring things to do and require a lot of self-regulation in order to implement them, which is a bit of a challenge for those with ADHD. For this particular coaching client, was talking about water. They were dehydrated a lot, which created problems because it taxed their working memory and their executive functioning, so we know that hydration is a big deal. Problem is the person drank a fair amount of Diet Coke because it tasted good, which dehydrated her, like caffeine or alcohol. But also she was taking Adderall, which dehydrates you, stimulants dehydrate you. Furthermore, they suppress your urge to drink. So not only do they dehydrate you, along with the Diet Coke, but you're no longer thirsty when you are thirsty, which is like kind of a double whammy, making it a bit of a challenge. Now, it sounds real simple. Solution, she just drink more water. Grab some water, bring it with her. Well, number one, she doesn't like drinking water out of a bottle. That's a problem. Number two, water's kind of bland and boring. Doesn't taste very good over and over and over. And number three is you have to go get it. If you got to go get a bottle of water that's 10 feet away, it's a 20-foot round trip. Sounds simple, but it might as well be on the moon for people with ADHD because of the energy, the disruption, etc. So this is a normal thing that I coach every single day. It might sound small. We're just talking about water, but it really permeates life. Laundry, doing taxes, paperwork, washing the car, anything. So as we began to talk about, basically we had to think about a few things. Number one, we need point of performance. We need to reduce friction. We need to keep things easy. So as we talked about this, we began to realize is that when she did drink water, she liked it out of a special container with a lot of ice and a straw. More steps, more barriers to inhibit her ability to do it. What we ended up doing is trying to say, how can we simplify this process? So we got to the point in time where we went out and got a bunch of containers. Once a week, put a bunch of ice in them with straws, put them all up and line them up and stick them in the freezer. The idea is you do all the work all kind of at one time in assembly line, and then each morning she would wake up, she would have a smoothie while she's at the refrigerator. That was the prompt to grab one of the waters. And in that moment, she'd actually have another water that she would drink, like I think a quart or two. And when we talked about it, that wasn't about drinking water. That was medication, if you will. We reframed the way we think about it because you take medications in order to help yourself. Drinking a quart or two of water when you don't really feel like it is a chore. So rather than think of it as drinking water, it was her medication in the morning to get that in, to kind of get her hydrated, if you will. The idea here is, at this point in time, she's got the container with the water she's carrying with her. Now, understand we had talked about bottled waters, but since she didn't like bottled water and all the containers, we stayed away from that. Ideally, we would have put water in her car, water in her office, so that it was all right there. But A, it would be hot. B, she doesn't drink it from whatever. So at the end of the day, the point of this video really is, number one, is something as simple as drinking water. If you're not doing it, number one, never say that it's an easy thing to do because you're not doing it. Number one, you got to say this is really difficult for you if you have ADHD because you've got to give it the respect that it's due. Number two is the idea is to look at your behavior, take a look at what you're looking for, and try to minimize the number of steps that are involved in the situation. We got all the containers, we got them all set up, we get them in the refrigerator so it's all easy, ready to go, and we're grabbing them in the morning when we're drinking the smoothie. Now, this is not going to be perfect. It's not going to hydrate her all the way along, but at least we've got something started. This is a metaphor because we're just talking about something as simple as we think as drinking water, but it's more difficult. The same fundamental factors apply in other parts of her life, whether it's doing laundry, getting things out the door, just anything that's repetitive and mundane. So the lesson here is, number one, things like this are not simple. They're actually hard. Number two, you need to reduce the amount of friction, the number of steps that are involved. And you need to take a look at your life and plan it out and say, how can I drop this in at one point in time to make it easy kind of down the road? This mentality, this mindset is actually how we go to solve ADHD problems. You have to look at it in these terms. I hope this video has given you pause to think about it and realize that there's lots of little things that you're calling easy that are not easy for you. They're very hard because they're boring. They require a lot of steps. The idea is reduce the number of steps and try to make it a little bit more exciting. Anyway, I hope this is a valuable insight. I hope this has given you pause to think. Please subscribe to our channel if you're new by hitting the subscribe button, and please leave a comment. Always interested in your thoughts about what you like, what you don't like. Did you get something from this? Because it always fuels our creativity for other videos. So with that, we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Attention Talk Video. Take care.